Drupal is the best medicine out there. Okay, today we're going to do another Drupal tutorial. And what it's going to be about is modifying Drupal's core search results. Now this has a couple of unique things that you need to take into consideration. So I thought it'd be a good thing to show kind of how you might go about theming it and why you might go about changing it. Just some pointers like that. Now what we're going to do is kind of look at a core search result page. We're using core search module, which is kind of why it makes this bit unique, and look at what bits we can remove, what we might want to change to make the user's experience a little bit better. And I'd say by default, Drupal search results are one of the better core modules in terms of a useful method of actually displaying the content. But I think there's still some way to go where we can make it a little bit better. So when you dive in to start looking at that, thing to know is that we're using core search module, so there's something we could do there. Now the first thing you know is that I'm just using a contrib theme, and I've got a search for web. Now we could probably make this a lot more appealing in CSS, but if we we'll kind of look at the visual appeal in a minute, but if we look at one of these blocks which contains one search result, it's a definition term, which is a good thing, but then inside that definition term it's got a class of title, then it's got an anchor link, then it's got a whole bunch of other stuff that we don't need. So part of the thing we're trying to do here is clean up all this unnecessary junky markup. Let's look at what we don't need. First we're going to focus on search results, and then look at this search form. Although I'm not actually going to change that today, but I'll show you how you would go about changing it. When there's some indentation here which I don't think is necessary. Maybe it's intended, but I don't really think it's necessary. We could modify that with CSS there. Where I really start to have a problem is down here, where it kind of just spits out a bunch of metadata about the post. It says what content type it is, and in this case they're all stories, where depending on how you named your content types, I'm not sure whether that's too useful to the user. There's only one user on the site, so it says admin. So for an example like that, if there's only one user, it says the date in its full kind of format, and says exactly the time, and says how many comments you got right from the search result. I think that's just an eyesore and generating all that extra markup that we don't need, that's ultimately going to slow down the loading of our site. And when we get up here, this is where I really start to have a problem. Users should be included in the content search, so we're going to get rid of those two tabs. We're maybe going to get rid of this advanced search because the average user is not going to need it and it's just a lot more complicated. We're definitely going to get rid of this border. We're going to get rid of the enter your keywords, because by the time the person's already got to this page, by in my case searching in the sidebar, then the odds are they won't need to re-enter their keywords. If they do, they can see that that's an editable thing, and I can't see the point in having enter your keywords. If we flip to users, we just have the same thing. So why isn't that integrated? We don't need that users tab. We don't need either of those tabs because it's all integrated. So there are some ideas on how we can affect this what I'm going to do first is change these from paragraph elements, these links, to H4 elements, because they're not the most important thing on the page runner, but I think they warrant a little bit more show than just a regular paragraph element, and they're important to search engines all over. It's arguable that you wouldn't index your search results because the individual pages would have already been indexed anyway. I'm kind of rambling here. So to start off with, I'm just going to change each title for each result into an H4, just as a little example. Now, another thing to note is that you need to make sure you've cleared out your cache for this to work. If we go into if I just get rid of that a second. If we dive into Coda and we see my theme here, where do we get the stuff that we need to change? Well, in Drupal 5, we'd have had to actually go into the module file, find the theme functions, and override it in the template.php file, which isn't very theme friendly really. But now modules have template files that people can override, at least well written modules do. But they're still a bit scary because of all the variables, but I'll show you how to get through that. So, this is the list of the core modules. What I'm going to do is just go to the search module, or search folder, and it's got all the module files, but then we've got these TPL files. We've got search block form.php. That's what is going to be affected if we look back at that's affecting the presentation of this default search block that's in the sidebar here. This search result thing is affecting the markup of one result, and we're gonna look at that. So if we just look in Firebug here, it's generating the markup for one single result, one single one of these HTML blocks. If we look at the HTML here, where we've got our div, it's creating each one of those ones that has div with a class of content, and it's generating that for each one of those things. So that's generating it for each individual result, and the search results .tpl.php is just an aggregation of all those results, but I can't imagine you'd want to change that unless you wanted to get rid of that or anything. So what we're gonna do is, and then there's also this search theme form.tpl.php. We've already looked at the search block form.tpl.php. The search theme form is what controls this here, because that's actually implemented in the theme, not just via a block. So if we wanted to get rid of all that unnecessary crap, we'd do that in a hook form alter, just target the form and get rid of a load of stuff. You wouldn't actually do that in these template files. I did a screencast a while back on altering forms, and that's why you do this. Now, we haven't actually done anything yet, so let's just dive into starting to do something. Remember, we're in the module file here, and you don't modify any core things because it's against Drupal practice basically. So what we need to do is copy the file contents with the exact file name and in things. So to change the title into H4 element, like I said I was going to do, I'm going to look at this file. So I need to create a file in my theme folder with the name of search result.tpl.php, and by doing that we'll just get ourselves off to the races and kind of jumping around the files and started a little bit. So if I go into my themes, and I'm using the Baron theme, and what I need to do is create a new file with that exact name. So if I remember, it was search dash result dot tpl dot php. We just paste our code in there that we got from the core thing. So we've done an override there. We've now got a home to override this in our theme. This is so much easier than overriding the theme functions. So what we're actually gonna do? Well, at the moment we're not gonna do anything.
It's 15 hours.
That sounds a bit odd, but at the moment all I want to do is check that we've got this working. So before all this prints, just as a test, I'm going to print a H4 element. What doing this will tell us is that if we see a H4 element before each thing, then that will tell us that we've successfully overridden our thing and we've got control and there was no issues with caching. There obviously was an issue, so the first place to check is if we go to admin, site building, admin site configuration, performance, and we just clear our cache. That sometimes works a treat, so I'm just going to search again, and hopefully this time the new functions will have taken out. Yeah, before each element, before all that code prints out, we get a H4 element, this is just a test like we wanted. So we now know that we've got control over this file. What I'm going to do is just delete that because we don't want that. And now we can actually start making useful overrides. So we're not going to alter a lot of this markup, but what we might do is get rid of the unnecessary classes and just for my idea we can wrap the definition term in on H4 element rather than just regular old anchor link. So it's going to be seen as an important thing on the page. If we save that and refresh, we see that our code's gone and our elements is still the same size. I think it's to do with a reset going on in the CSS of this theme. But if we look, and there we can see that our changes have been made and that anchor link's been wrapped in a H1 tag. So we've obviously got a hold. The last thing we're going to look at here is modifying this bit here, taking out the bits like the fact it was by admin, because all of them are by admin, and it just so happens that all of the one on this website are story nodes. So on this website there's no need to say that it's a story. And it gives us some kind of manual code up here. We need to spit out a part of the info spit variable, and we can get rid of all our markup. So there's P with an ID of search info as well creates that. So you can just get rid of that. Whole lookout there, and if we say refresh, we see that that's no longer there. But we're probably going to want some of that there. Maybe how many comments on the date that it was published. So it gives us some basic manual code out there, and you can check your variables, you can do all kinds of stuff. But what all we're going to do is just, and I'm actually going to do it above the thing. This is the power of theming, because we can really decide where we want stuff in the markup. And first of all, I'm going to check if there are any comments, if the comment data exists. So what I need to do is say we want to check no, we don't just say if, we say if is set. My bad there, because what we actually want to do is see if the variable is set. So what we want to see if the set is info split. This allows us to split the info. And then I'm not a PHP savvy, but I think all we're doing this next bit is extracting a part of the array. So in this case, we want to check if the comment part of the array is present, because we only want to print that part. So in that code there, I've just checked if it's present, because we don't want it to spit out the markup if it's not actually there and if it's useless. So I'm going to end the if, and now I'm going to write the markup that I want it to have. So this markup's only going to spit out if it says how many comments. I wanted to put it in an emphasis tag, because I think this bit should be emphasised. And I want it, what we're going to say now is I want it to print that part of the array. So, what I'm going to do that is go print. We know it exists, so we're not going to do any conditional logic, because that's what we just did there. And all we're going to do is say if it exists, then print exactly the same thing. So if it exists, we're going to print it in emphasis tags. That's what we've asked it to do. So we should only see the comment bit. And it didn't work. Right, well let me try a different one that I know works. We're gonna get the I'm going to get the date. I'm going to check if the date's there. And if it is there, then I'm going to print out the date. Refresh. And it prints out the date just like we wanted it to. So we do actually have home, we do have the ability to customise this. I think what you'd have to do is, because it's a link, do some extra stuff, but at its core we've just customised the search results, and now we can do virtually anything we want. I'm sorry this is a long video, but I'll just try and to alter the search form. We'd have to do a hook form alter.
Hey Tommy.
To do some stuff. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks.